Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from the fourth group and we want to present our material from the fourth chapter of this English curriculum analysis. Well, our title is Principles of Language Curriculum Design. Before I'm going to present our material, I want to introduce my member team. The first speaker is me, Ailsa Nashwa, and the second speaker is Alia Rahayu, and the last speaker is Asrina. We'll move to the material. The first is the aim of this English curriculum design. The aims of this part is to decide how learning can be encouraged. The next is methods and principles. A method approach to curriculum design seems to result in some aspects of curriculum design being well thought out and well founded on research, but in many aspects being ignored or not well thought out because they are not systematically based on research and theory. The second is there are striking similarities between supposedly different methods, especially in the selection and sequencing of the material that makes up a course. The third is principles should be based on research and theory and should be general enough to allow variation and flexibility in their application to guide teaching and assist in design courses. Next, the 20 principles. The first is based on pedagogical perspective. The second is focusing on curriculum design and teacher training. The third is each principle in the list is supported by research and theory. Well, the next material will be presented by Alia Rahayu. Time and place are yours.
Hello, I'm the second speaker. Now we're gonna continue this video with me. The 20 principle is based on the pedagogical perspective, focusing on curriculum design and teacher training. It will also be possible to take a more philosophical stance on principle, considering the nature of language, learning, and the role of the culture. And the next is content and sequencing. There is frequency, strategies and autonomy, space retrieval, language system, keeping moving forward, teachability, learning burden, interference. And the next is format and presentation. There is motivation, for standards, comprehensible, fluence, output, deliberate learning, time on text, depth of processing, integrative, and the last is learning style. And the next is monitoring and assessment. The first is ongoing needs and environment analysis. The second is feedback. Content and sequencing. A language course should provide the best possible coverage of a language in use. A language course should train learners is how to learn a language. Learners should have increasingly space. The language focus on a course need to be on generalizable features of language system. A language course should progressively cover useful language item, skill, and strategies. The teaching of language items should take account of the most favorable sequencing of the items and should take account of when the learners are most ready to learn them. And the items in a language course should be sequenced so that items which are learned together have a positive effect on each other for learning. Format and presentation. As much as possible, the learners should be interested and excited about learning the language, and they should come to value this learning. The second is a course should include a roughly even balance of the four standards of meaning, focus, output, and fluence activities. The third is there should be substantial quantities of interesting, compressible, respective activity in both listening and reading. A language should provide activities aimed to increase the fluency with which learner can use the language they already know, both receptively and productively. The learner should be pushed to produce the language in the both of speaking and reading over a range of discourse type. The course should include language-focused learning in the sound system, vocabulary, grammar, and discourse areas. As much time as possible should be spent using and focusing on the second language. Learners should process the items to be learned as deeply and as thoroughly as possible. The course should be present so that the learners have the most favorable attitude to the language, user of the language, use of the language, the teacher's skills in teaching the language, and their chance of success in learning the language. And the last is there should be opportunity for learners to work with the learning material in ways that the most suit their individual learning style.
Okay, my name is Astrina. I'm the third speaker. I will explain the material in the following section. First, principle of mentoring and assessment. Second, using the list of principle. Third, task, and the last, case study. First, principle of mentoring and assessment. 1. The selection, gradation, presentation, and assessment of the material in the language course shall be based on careful consideration of the learner and their needs, the teaching condition, and the time and resource available. The principle stresses the importance of doing environment analysis and need analysis during the planning of a course. 2. Learners should receive helpful feedback which will to improve the quality of their language use. Feedback is a term from communication theory. After a message has been sent, the sender may receive information about various aspects of the message. Feedback from language use can come from the sender herself, from the people who receive the message, and from an observer of the communication process. Next is using the list of principle. Using the list of principle have a 3 points. Is the first, it can be used to guide the design of language teaching course and lessons. 2. It can be used to evaluate existing course and lesson. And 3. It can be used to help teacher integrate and contextualize information gathered from keeping up with development in their field. Next, task. The activity is a reading text is followed by some comprehension question. The learners are not supposed to look at the text while they answer the question. The question requires the learners to think about the text, not just repeat part of it. The analysis of the comprehension question activity, there are 3 principles is being applied. 1. Speech retrieval. 2. Depth of processing. And 3. Comprehensible input. Next, case study. First, Alice, 2005, present the list of 10 principles which overlap with the list of 20. 2. Jonas, list the principles that could lie behind the evaluation of Teach Yourself course. Okay, that's all my explanation of the material. Thank you.